All right, so this question is mine. So what was your latest or last perfect 10 horror movie? And what I mean by that is not the last one you saw, but the last one to come out. Timer. I'm doing terrible.
So with how I rate, I guess for me it'd be a 7. No, but
Well, you've given away a lot of 6s.
I think the last one that I was truly blown away by that is just coming to mind is probably Halloween 2018. To me, that is a near perfect movie to me. I love everything about it. It's violent. It's re-energizing a franchise. It felt like it was made by fans. I was so on the edge of my seat watching it. I don't think it's a perfect horror movie. It's not a 10, but
there's no such thing as perfect.
Right.
But I mean, like,
I'll even say, Evil Dead Rise, I gave it an 8, and I think Evil Dead Rise is pretty close to a unbelievable horror movie, and it's recent. Jay, what do you got out there?
You know what? I've only rated one movie in the history of my movie ratings a 10, and that was 1981's Halloween 2. Since then, I have never rated another movie a 10. Now, Halloween 2018, very close. That was a 9. It definitely, like Mike, I think you nailed it. It had the elements. It had all
the elements.
The elements.
The
It had. Yeah, it hit on every level, and like you said, I think it did feel like a fan film. Like everything that we've always wanted. It brought, like Kirk, you mentioned this earlier. It brought the music back with the pumpkin. It brought everything that we want. Even the beginning when they're standing inside the asylum and he's standing in this box, and and the guy brings out the mask. It brings out all that, the energy of what you're about to get into. But 1981's Halloween 2 is the most perfect 10, and
wow.
When we did this on our podcast, that was my only 10 I've ever given.
Yeah, I keep trying to think of like other movies. I mean, there's a lot of great horror movies, like The Sadness recently. I was blown away by that movie, and it's up there for me. Once again, maybe like
even if you call it a 9,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking. What is your like?
Yeah,
man.
I mean, but I think once again, The Sadness I was blown away by. I thought that was fantastic. Jay, what was the movie that I told you to watch? It was for Christmas, and it was the family kind of taking the pills before the I can't think of what that is called, but which doesn't help on a podcast, obviously.
The end of the world coming, the apocalypse.
I think that's
movie.
like a 7 or an 8. I mean, there's been some really good horror movies. Kirk, what are you thinking?
Yeah, yes. So I loved Kills and 2018 when it came to the Halloween. There were certain elements of that movie that dropped it below it. 99% of that being Jamie Lee Curtis. Couldn't stand her in either of those movies. That took that out of that range for me. But for me, the latest was 2017's It. Like, I think that movie, the first one, Chapter 1, hit on all levels. I loved it. I think it was an improvement over the TV show. I think Bill Skarsgård was an improvement. This is an 80s or probably 90s TV show that I thought was, you're crazy for replacing Tim Curry. And I think they did it better.
Yeah.
The first one, the second one, not so much.
I was bored with it.
I don't even mind
the.
I don't even mind the second one. I thought the first one though, but it was the same thing to me in the show.
I was bored with both of them.
The show, Stephen King just can't write endings sometimes, and I think that's part of the problem. But
yeah, well,
he gets writer's block.
But 80s kids, it was good jump scares. Pennywise looked amazing. Bill Skarsgård was amazing.
Yeah, well, anytime you take an old,
I'll give Bill Skarsgård at. Yeah, he did great.
He looked amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anytime you take, all right.